Good morning, New Orleans. Welcome to the Jack Clegg Show. This is the Tuesday morning edition, the special Tuesday before Thanksgiving edition. You all have been waiting for it. Everyone's excited about the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And we have a full show for you today, and hopefully, callers calling in to discuss human nature and why things don't make sense anymore. And we'll get to that in a minute. There are three topics, as there usually are, that I want to get into. One, Operation Fox Hunt. Operation Fox Hunt. Raise your hand if you know what it is. I don't see a lot of hands raised out there. So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about that. Number two, is the Department of Homeland Security, and has the Department of Homeland Security a special arrangement with the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, to return dissidents to China? This is different than people that are extradited from one country to the other because allegedly they've committed crimes. But it's similar to that. And we're going to talk about that for a minute. And then the third topic is, once again, Governor Greg Abbott to the rescue. Let me start with Greg Abbott. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this guy and why I think we've all been watching the last week or two, last 2 weeks, the talking heads on television talking about why Trump won. And the Democrats have their positions on things. It's why did Kamala Harris lose? Well, I have my opinions about that. Why did Trump win? I have my opinions about that. But there are some things that historically are accurate, which in my opinion have turned the tide and did turn the tide for President Trump, and the common sense approach that he succeeded with. And people could say all kinds of other things, but common sense had a real impact on this election. And Greg Abbott helped that along. Okay, what's this guy talking about? What is Clegg talking about? Common sense. Greg Abbott. This is it. Throughout the Trump administration, actually before the Trump administration, we had a issue involving immigrants. Okay? Remember, one of the things Trump promised, I'm going to build a wall. I'm going to make the Mexican government pay for it. Fights back and forth. The Democratic Party didn't come out and say, look, our donors want to hire cheap labor, so we're in favor of unlimited immigration in the United States. They didn't want to say that, and they didn't say that. People kind of thought that's what they meant. That, and then we had people talk about the replacement theory. They made it racial and so forth and so on. All of those things went on for years. Okay, when Trump was president, we made all kinds of inroads into protecting the United States from illegal immigrants. The Remain in Mexico policy, terrific. If you came to the border and you said, I am a political asylum seeker, we said, okay, just stay in Mexico until your hearing. And then we'll put you before a judge. You can tell your story. Maybe, maybe not. Everybody had a right to do that. But it had a big impact on the number of people who came across the border. When Trump lost in 2020 and Biden came in, one of the first things he did away with was Remain in Mexico. Okay, so from 20 20 until 2024, let's use from 2020 until 2023, because in 2022 and 2023, the tide began to turn. And that tide that I'm talking about is the common sense approach to immigration. Okay, you're a couple, you live in Nebraska, you live in South Carolina, you live in Wyoming, you live somewhere else. Immigration really probably didn't have much to do with you. Probably not. Okay, but you were interested, and when you heard a story about it, you kind of paid a little bit of attention, so forth and so on. But things changed with Governor Abbott of Texas. How'd they change? He said, I'm going to let the rest of this country see what we're living in Texas. He meant we in Texas have thousands and thousands and thousands of people coming in every day, and they expect us to take care of them. And they're here illegally. We don't think they're here legally. It was a horrible thing. It got so bad that Abbott was faced with federal employees cutting razor wire he put up so people wouldn't cross the border illegally. Federal people were cutting the razor wire. Now, what did he do that was most effective and that changed the tide of Americans' views on immigration? He used buses, and he sent illegal immigrants to American cities in the north, New York City, Chicago. He didn't send 3 or 4. He sent busloads and busloads and busloads. And by the way, these were all sanctuary cities. Abbott's smart. He knew what he was doing. Suddenly, the people in those cities, the citizens in those cities, started rising up, saying, wait a minute, what happened to the soccer field that I used to drop my son and daughter off at? They can't stay there. They can't play soccer because they're tents filled with people. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they are. Then it got worse. The amount of money that was spent on the illegals in these major American cities, it became public, and the people went crazy. Other people who depended upon the federal government for their livelihood, food stamps, welfare, other kinds of assistance which they may need, they were like, wait a minute, you're spending all the money we should be getting on these illegal aliens, and they're here illegally. To me, in my opinion, Abbott's actions opened up immigration and made it tangible for people in any city to realize, it could happen to us. If it hasn't happened to us yet, it may happen to us. You remember what they did? Was it in Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard? It was Martha's Vineyard, I think, where they sent a busload of folks, illegals from, I forget where, somewhere, to Martha's Vineyard. And at first the people there, oh, how great. Within 48 hours, they were all shipped out of Martha's Vineyard and put on an abandoned military base. Okay, so what did Governor Abbott do? After the break, we're going to tell you what he did, the next big thing that he's done.
Hi, this is Rusty from the Olive Branch Cafe. The Olive Branch Cafe pizzas, pastas, and salads are the West Bank's favorites. We use only the freshest ingredients and prepare everything daily, like our lasagna, Caesar salad with our homemade Caesar dressing, and signature pizzas, including our Cajun trio, smoked sausage, chicken, and crawfish. Our lunch menu includes wraps, subs, soups, and salads, and everything starts at less than $12. West Bank born, West Bank raised, West Bank proud. The Olive Branch Cafe, Marrero and Algiers.
Hey, it's Christian. One of my favorite places to eat, Randazzo's Family Restaurant and Catering, 4462 Wabash Street in Metairie. Check out the menu, eatrandazzos.com. Randazzo's isn't just a lunch and dinner spot. On the weekends, breakfast is outstanding. Their omelets are amazing. I love their huge, generous proportions. Give them a call, 504-456-9069. That's 504-456-9069. Randazzo's Restaurant and Catering. EatRandazzos.com. That's EatRandazzos.com.
Hey, Mimi, we love Wednesdays, but we're moving to a new time.
Listen to He Said, She Said, Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
As usual, we'll be discussing and debating the hot topics.
and taking your phone calls.
You can find out who's right. Of course, that's me.
No, wait, Jeff, I'm never wrong. Remember, happy wife, happy life.
So we'll have a lot to talk about on He Said, She Said.
Listen to the Crew of Crew Air Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
right here on WGSO.
Tired of placing multiple calls to multiple vendors and getting the runaround? Turn to one resource who can get it done. Sir Speedy. We provide a wide spectrum of print, signs, and marketing services, all backed by more than 5 decades of experience. So when you need that new brochure, direct marketing campaign, or signage to promote your brand, give us a call at 504-586-9812 or visit us online at sirspeedyneworleans.com. Everything you need, one resource, Sir Speedy.
We rage for the team. The ball's loose. The Cajuns have it. We rage for the brotherhood. Great catch. Got a foot down. We rage for the culture. 80 yards. Touchdown, Louisiana. Join us Saturday. The Cajuns hit the road to take on ULM. Our coverage begins at 10 a.m. on your home for Louisiana football.
Let's go make this thing happen.
Brought to you by Bougie Baloney on WGSO 990 AM.
Hey, did you hear the Britannia Bar Uptown has a whole lot of new live entertainment going on? Every Wednesday night at 8 p.m., they alternate either stand-up comedy or classic movie showings. Thursday at 9 is themed karaoke. They have live music on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starting at 9 p.m., and every Monday is blues night starting at 6. Plus, they have the longest shuffleboard table in the city, a 22-footer. Wow! Located on the corner of Britannia and Delachaise Street, right across from Touro Hospital. Come check out all of the fun at the Britannia Bar.
Already, we're back. All right, this is the Jack Clegg Show. We are on WGSO 990 AM, WGSO.com, and YouTube. And hit the subscribe button and do all the other things you're supposed to do. You all know what to do. Okay, so I gave you a little background on Abbott and who he was, and I believe his efforts busing those migrants to New York and Chicago and other locations brought this issue to the significant top line issue that it had at the election. So I give him great credit for that. All right. What's he doing now? Okay. Item 2, Operation Fox Hunt. We're going to talk about Operation Fox Hunt today. Operation Fox Hunt began by the Chinese Communist Party in June of 2014. What was that? Okay. You remember Hong Kong was a British colony for years. It is the center of wealth and the place to make money in Asia. Okay. They got their freedom from Britain. I think it was 87, 88. I forget the exact year. Okay. And they went along for a while, but then China has been putting the clamps on it was a democracy, on the democratic institutions in Hong Kong. And there were marches and so forth and so on. And in typical communist totalitarian fashion, those who spoke out against the Chinese coming into Hong Kong and taking away their freedoms were on the list of dissidents. Okay, they got arrested. China put in what are called exit bans. It was a crime if you left without the authority of the Chinese government. You couldn't travel out without their permission. These were called exit bans. So, all right, that's bad. It's horrible. And thousands of people left. All right. 2024, the United States Department of Homeland Security starts sending Chinese citizens that were here in the United States back to China. And there are several. You can go to Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security press releases, and they did it on 3 separate occasions after June of 2024. The last one was November 16th. Hundreds of Chinese are sent back. Why? Why? Well, I will tell you what my belief is. My belief is that the Chinese Communist Party and somebody or some group of people in our government got a deal. And we are sending dissidents back to China. These are people that want freedom. They know they'll get prosecuted in China, so they leave, they flee. They know that no U.S. court is going to extradite them for wanting to be free. That's not going to happen. Nobody's going to send them back for that. However, if they don't yet have a visa and they're not here with a resident alien documentation, they get sent back. They get sent back. Now, just to bring this full circle, what's Governor Abbott got to do with this? Just like he did in 2022 and 2023, he's leading the country. We've known that the American federal government has known that the Chinese Communist Party is operating what are called police stations in America, where Chinese individuals that are here under travel visas from the Chinese government, they're allowed to be here, are tracking down these dissidents or families of the dissidents they don't like, threatening them and making them either go back to China with them and face charges, or they're going to put their cousins, their uncles, their nephews and nieces in China in jail. It's insane. So what did Governor Abbott do? He issued an executive order last week where the Texas police, the state authorities in Texas, are arresting members of the CCP in Texas that are pressuring Chinese citizens who are currently in Texas right now. And they're allowing it. This executive order makes it a crime to do that in Texas. I think this is the greatest story. And once again, it shows that Abbott knows exactly what's going on. He knows exactly what to do. And I'm proud to have him a governor of an American state. He is leading the way. Okay, now we have a caller on hold. We're going to get to this story a little bit later, but Matthew, who's Andrew's younger brother, is on the line. Matthew, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
So I would guess that there's somebody at the Department of Homeland Security who says that, well, they're lawbreakers after all. They broke Chinese law.
Right.
And so they're being deported to China because China will accept them back. Whereas if we capture a plane load of trendy Iraguas, Venezuela is not going to capture them back, and we're too kind to just drop them off.
Well, that is correct. That is correct. What's really kind of interesting is I see this. I want to know, and I hope if Trump is going to do investigations about what happened, okay, I want to know the basis under which illegal aliens who happen to be Chinese are rounded up and put on planes and sent back to China, yet we've got all kinds of. Is it this? Is it that when the Chinese came here They didn't know how to form these two words, political asylum. Is that what it was? All of the Central Americans and South Americans who walked here and made that long trek, when they got here, they said those magic words. And under the Biden administration, if you say those two magic words, you're allowed in. You're allowed in, but not these Chinese. So I did the additional research. How does that happen? There's a woman, her name is Carolyn Nash. She works for Amnesty International. And she was interviewed by, well, I know, it's my producer, Patty, said, Amnesty International, that sounds like the ACLU. I said, yes, it does. It does. And they fight for the rights of people who do not have the wherewithal to fight for themselves. Okay. But
supposedly,
that's correct. Now, but I do have to say on this issue, they're spot on, because they have, and there's a Newsweek article that just came out a couple of days ago that interviews Carolyn Nash. And what she says is, this is a setup, my words, not hers, by the American Homeland Security Agency to get these people back to China, because the Chinese want to prosecute them to show people, one, we do not take any criticism, and two, we have friends in America that will send you back. If you think you can hide there, sorry, they're sending you back. All right, we're going to take a break. Matthew, can you hold on till after the break? All right, we'll get back to you in a minute. This is the Jack Clegg Show. We'll be back in a moment.
Football season is here, and so is your game day MVP, Bougie Bologna, made with 100% smoked pork shoulder, seasoned to perfection and ready to tackle your taste buds. Try Bougie Bologna, perfect for building the ultimate sandwich stack, available in regular and spicy for those who like to bring the heat. If you're tailgating at the stadium or at home, we're the perfect addition to any party. Find us at a store near you or bougiebologna.com. Bougie Bologna, it's a game changer.
Real Talk with Revolution is back. This is Effie, and I've brought along some new friends.
Nikki D here. We'll be talking real estate, real life, and everything in between.
Please join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on WGSO 990 AM and streaming live at WGSO.com.
Big Easy Pet Shop and Rescue is a nonprofit volunteer-run rescue. We provide adoption services and care for homeless animals across the New Orleans metro area. We also offer pet supplies and grooming services at our downtown and Marigny locations. The shops are located at 839 Spain Street and 513 Dumaine Street and are open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. weekdays and noon to 6 on Saturdays, noon to 5 on Sundays. We can be found on the web at BigEasyPetShop.com. Support local animals in need by shopping and adopting with Big Easy Animal Rescue.
Hi, this is Kate Delaney from America Tonight. The show kicks on at midnight, and I'm loving the overwhelming support in New Orleans. What a group of fantastic listeners here on WGSO 990 AM. Join me every morning to catch up on what I call the buzz in your backyard and mine. You'll hear some of the most interesting people on the planet from the world of business, politics, sports, and, well, just intriguing people with a story to tell. If you're around, give us a call. Don't worry, I'll spit out the number plenty of times on the air. Let's agree to meet at midnight right here on WGSO 990 AM in New Orleans.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Jeff Palermo. If you're heading out of town for the Thanksgiving holiday, you will be in good company.
We're expecting a record number of people traveling for Thanksgiving holidays in all modes of transportation, whether it's by vehicle or by airplane or cruising.
Don Redmond with AAA says nationwide, almost 80 million people are expected to head out of town this week, almost 72 million by car. A growing number of airports across the country, including New Orleans and Baton Rouge, are rolling out new technology to make getting through security a little easier. Cosets with the TSA says it's called Cat 2 technology, and it uses travelers' IDs.
They will flash your photo, and it will tell our officer, based on the security embedded identification protocols inside that ID, if you're the person on the license in the picture that they're seeing real time, and if you are in fact flying that day.
And Coset said soon you'll be able to use your digital ID with the Cat 2 machines. LRN.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited.
They do not give up until you pay.
They put a lien on my house.
How about you? Do you owe back taxes? Call Tax Solutions now and get some help. For a limited time, the IRS offers a tax forgiveness program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Our team can make it easier for you to pay back taxes, avoid tax liens, and get a fresh start. Sometimes you just need a second chance.
I call Tax Solutions now, and they got the IRS off my back.
At Tax Solutions Now, our affiliates are all accredited by the Better Business Bureau and members of the National Association of Tax Professionals.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now. Call 800-319-6697. 800-319-6697. 800-319-6697.
Hey folks, it's Jeff Cruier. I've been with WGSO for 17 years as host and now president and general manager. WGSO is a community-based radio station, a nonprofit, locally operated. We believe in cultivating local talent and emphasizing local programs. If you have an interest in hosting your own program, then we have some prime spots available for you. Take advantage of this great offer. Email me at jeff@wgso.com or call me at 504-669-6076. Come fulfill your radio dreams at WGSO.
Hi guys, Mark Durrell here from Brain Restoration Wellness Center. I'm excited to bring to you our half off sale from now until January the 1st. That's right, half price off of our NAD tablets, our vape pens, and our NAD IV drops. Please contact us at 504-913-7767 or visit us on the web at nadrehabtherapy.com.
Tune in to Chew on This, Saturdays at noon on WGSO. Tell us what you're cooking or ask us how to cook it with Don Clement and Patty B. We'll share recipes, cooking techniques, everything from sous vide to grilling. Got a favorite kitchen gadget? Let us know about it. Your grandma's secret sauce? Now we're talking. Tips from home cooks for gourmet cooking at your home. Join Don Clement and Patty B for Chew on This, Saturdays at noon on WGSO.
Come on to my house.
Hey, this is Christian Garrick. I'm excited about my new show on WGSO 990 AM, Monday through Friday, noon to 2 p.m. There are a lot of things going on in this country and in the city that are concerning. I'm your voice. You might be afraid to speak out for fear of cancel culture or losing your job. The Christian Garrick Show on WGSO is your platform, noon to 2, weekdays, right here on 990 AM WGSO.
Yes. All right, New Orleans. Welcome back to the third segment of the Jack Clegg Show here on WGSO 990 AM, WGSO.com for the audio podcast and YouTube for the video podcast. We were talking to Matthew, and I was giving you what I thought was a summary of Operation Fox Hunt by the Chinese and how they, I believe, at least the evidence suggests, and I'm going to give you more evidence in a moment, that our government is assisting the Chinese Communist Party in removing dissidents who were in China, fled China, and we're returning them to the Chinese government. I believe that's what is behind this, and I will cite from an article in Newsweek that cited the woman from Amnesty International on some of the real reasons why such a conclusion can be drawn. Have you followed this story at all, Matthew?
It hasn't even bubbled up to the surface. Everybody's talking about nuclear war.
Right. Well,
Oh, and by the way, did you know that Iran is only 2 years away from getting a nuclear weapon?
well,
This is the 10th year of them being 2 years away.
they've
They're
been
2 years away.
they've been 2 years away for, I would say, a decade. So maybe they have a different calendar than we do. I'm not sure.
It's entirely possible, but we're all going to die.
Yeah.
That's all I've been hearing lately.
Well,
What about you?
that's it. Well, this story, hopefully, when Trump takes over, and it can't be soon enough, my hope is that when they start pulling out the dyed-in-the-wool Biden administration appointees and put in their place people that will actually look to see what's happened, that this Operation Fox Hunt will be ended, that Trump will end it here in America, that if the Chinese want a Chinese person back in China, they will make a formal request through extradition. We allow that. The problem is they don't like extradition because it works both ways. It's reciprocal. Okay. Now, why did the Biden administration send 3 plane loads of people back to China in 2024? Well, I mean, it would seem to me that the Democrats could have used that to say, wait a minute, you're crazy about, we're fighting illegal immigration. Look what we did. Look what we did. But I don't remember that being a big story. Now, perhaps their candidate did not, I don't know, her instincts were bad. Maybe she didn't think it was important, but she never talked about it. Or maybe she didn't know. That's also a possibility. But I had mentioned this woman, Carolyn Nash, with the Asia, she's the Asia Advocacy Director for Amnesty International USA.
Oh, okay. That's why she has an interest in things Asian.
That's correct. And there are 3 things she talked about. Number one, and this is all in reference to the deportation flights by Department of Homeland Security, planes filled with Chinese immigrants going back to China. Okay. Number one, Customs and Border Protection does not track ethnicity. So all we know is on this plane, 84 people that were Chinese went back to China. It doesn't say whether they are Uyghurs, Hong Kongers, or other minorities in China. And why is that important? Because we know the Chinese government, they don't care about being called racists. That doesn't seem to bother them. They go after whoever they want to go after. People that don't.
As long as you put "sir" after the name, they don't care about being called racist.
That is correct. That is correct. So they go after people that don't follow the CCP march. Okay, so that's item one, and that's ingrained and part of our institution of Department of Homeland Security. When we have these people, we don't ask them or check their ethnicity. If you consider the world, that's a big issue, but we don't do that. Number two, the ones coming, if we look at people coming to our border, okay, they can use an app. It's called the CBP, Customs Border Patrol, ONE app. And it's meant to allow non-citizens without documentation who wish to enter the United States to submit information at various points of entry, which says, I am making a claim for political asylum. So wait for me. I'll be there in a little while. And then they're let right in. That's how it works. Well, the problem, as Carolyn Nash points out, is under this policy, the only way for people to seek safety is to use this CBP ONE mobile app, but it's only available in the following languages: English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole. So if you're a Chinese national and don't speak English or enough English to get through the CPB1 app, you have to come in illegally. And that's what they do. And why? This is the simplest question. Okay. If our government is making it easier for people to come in and make a political asylum claim, why would they limit the languages to Spanish, English, and Haitian Creole? Does that make any sense to you?
It does if you're looking for a population of people who you believe you can easily control.
Well, so if you're looking for people that don't mind working at the lower end of the economic world, landscape people, domestics, so forth and so on, and
People
you
work
want
at,
a lot
meat
of those.
processing plants.
Yes, and you want a lot of them coming in, certainly.
Well, Chinese people will do that work. They will work at meat processing plants, but they will be busy trying to figure out how can they open up their own meat processing plant.
That's exactly it. And so this whole topic, I think, I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to President Trump's approach to this issue. Maybe it's not as big. Maybe it's not as big. But to me, it seems absolutely horrible that the American Border Patrol would send back dissidents to China. Really? It's not like there are a lot of criminals in America that flee to China, right? And in return for you sending us our criminals back, we will send your criminals. There's no reciprocity here. I am unaware, and maybe one of the callers knows, but I am unaware that China is a location where criminals flee from American authorities. I don't think that's the case. But America is where dissidents and people who want democracy, and they're getting thrown in jail by the CCP in Hong Kong, they flee everywhere, Europe, anywhere they can to get out.
Well, Jack, lately in China, there's a new growth industry.
And what's that?
Prison.
Yes,
They're building
you're right.
prisons
Yeah.
like it's going out of style.
I have seen that.
So maybe that's what they're looking for, is people to fill up their prisons, because this is a really strange thing. Before, if they really wanted somebody back, they would have the Chinese police here in the United States just bring them a message from their parents. Their parents saying that,
sure.
If you don't return home, there's a party cadre looking at my liver right now.
Right.
And so
and we know
they get
that's
back home to keep
happened.
their liver from getting harvested.
We know that
And in
that's
fact,
happened. So
everybody's liver gets harvested.
The connection between that and Homeland Security's filling up plane loads of Chinese nationals and sending them back to China. How could the media miss this story?
Because they don't want to cover it.
Right.
Because it makes China look bad.
That's
China
my conclusion
is the
as well.
model economy for the globalists.
Well, I think a good point. All right, I got to let you go. Great point. Have a good rest of the day and happy Thanksgiving. This is a Jack Clegg Show. We'll be back in a few moments.
Hey, it's Kevin Carr with your personal sneak preview invitation to join me on Sunday evening from 8 to 9 for Fat Guys at the Movies. Each week, I give you my take on the newest movies and movie news, but in a fun way. Not like those stuffy movie review snobs who take themselves way too seriously. I tell you if the new movies rock or not. Yes, it's fun for all ages with Fat Guys at the Movies. I'll see you Sunday evening at 8 on WGSO 990 AM.
Chef Jamie Gwen here. Tune in for delicious conversation and let me feed your soul every Sunday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. right here on WGSO 990 AM, the community voice of the Crescent City.
Aldi and the Blonde. Radical radio for radical times. Wednesdays at 4 on WGSO. Follow us on X at Aldi Blonde.
That's not America.
Hey, New Orleans, the wait is over. That who-dat who wouldn't quit? Well, it's me, the King Dude, Mike Church, back on the radio airwaves that you know and love after 27 years of being away. I've only been back for a few weeks, but I've already spent more time in New Orleans than Mayor LaToya Barcelona. Or is that Mayor she's full of? Bologna. Whatever. And remember that your mama was pro-life, darling, back when men were men and women didn't pretend to be men who run for Congress. Join me weekday mornings at 6. What have you got to lose that the Democrat Party hasn't already tried to steal from you?
Don't get stuck in boring talk radio. Give it a much-needed splash of laughs and a little Southern Louisiana flavor with Implicit Bias Radio. I'm Kevon Bordelon. Join the crew and I each Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. as we give our thoughts on what's going down around the country. We'll crack open a fresh bottle of whiskey each week as we talk about what's swirling around in our heads and in the glasses. The Implicit Bias Radio Show, every Saturday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on WGSO 990 AM.
Join me, Mitch Gibbs, every Monday and Friday at 4 p.m. live on WGSO Radio New Orleans, talking Saints football in our 15th season of In the Red Zone. We'll be live at Premier Nissan at 6636 Veterans Boulevard, where Metairie meets Kenner, for another exciting season of Saints football live on WGSO Radio.
Hi, everybody. This is Jackie Gumbo. I'm inviting you to join me every Sunday at 5 p.m. for Uncle Jackie's Gumbo, heard only on WGSO 990 AM or WGSO.com.
Broadcasting from deep within the Louisiana Purchase, beneath spacious skies, overlooking the fruited plain, and smack dab in the land of the free. The American Ground Radio Program with Louis R. Abalone and Stephen Parr, where freedom grows. Listen each weeknight from 7 to 9 p.m. with Louis R. Abalone and Stephen Parr here on WGSO 990 AM.
All right, New Orleans, welcome back to the fourth and final segment of the Jack Clegg Show here at WGSO 990 AM and YouTube as well as WGSO.com. Okay, and so I know we threw a lot of information at you today. This issue just hits me the wrong way. I mean, if our federal government was working with the Chinese government to send back dissidents who China passed a law, which we would in English we would say it's an exit ban. That is, it's illegal for you to leave without our approval. Okay, and if you stay, we're going to arrest you. If you leave, we're going to add an extra charge that you violated the exit ban. So these people come to America, where you would think this is where they should be able to go for real political asylum. It's not economic hardship. It's not living in a community where crime is so high you don't feel safe. That's not why you're able to come to America. You're able to come to America, and that's why we have political asylum, when the government in the location where you live prevents you from exercising what we believe are fundamental rights, such as freedom of speech, freedom of the press, etc. Okay, so if it is true, and the only evidence I've seen, my gut instinct is, why are they sending the Chinese citizens back, but not all the others? I don't understand it, except for if it benefits our government. And how would it benefit our government? That somebody's going to have to explain that to me. Okay, and there was yesterday in the New York Times, there was a photograph on the front page of a young boy, 10, maybe 12 years old. And he had a t-shirt on, and his arms were cut off from here. It was tragic, this photograph. And the title of the story was Surviving Gaza. And he was a young boy who claimed was injured, lost his arms in a bombing. Well, that's horrible. Who would want that to happen to anyone? No one would. But what I really was offended by was the idea that this happened to him because Israel is not doing the right thing. Israel is bombing areas which they believe are strongholds of Hamas or Hezbollah. Okay. But why is the New York Times, why would they do that? Why would they take such a position? I mean, look, if they had that picture of that boy, and right next to that had a picture of one of the people that survived the attack on October 7th, 2023, and showed their injuries, or maybe one of the people that was a hostage for 9 months and showed what they looked like when they got out. Okay, then I got it. It's a horrible thing that's going on there. But the idea that in the New York Times, on the front page, they would have this picture of a victim, supposedly a victim or represented to be a victim of Israeli war crimes, maybe? Is that what you're trying to get at? Is that what the point they're trying to make? I mean, we heard that the United Nations has issued an arrest warrant for Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. Okay. They can't arrest him in Israel. But if he travels to one of the countries that recognizes this warrant, he get arrested. And I'm just thinking, how in the world is Israel supposed to react when 1,200 of its people are killed and hundreds more are kidnapped, brought across the Israel border with Gaza, hidden, and then when they try to go save them, if they get close enough, they're killed by their captors. And I thought, I'm like, I just don't understand. I really don't. And maybe someone could call in at our call-in number, which is 504-556-9696, and explain to me how it is that the media is trying to make Israel the bad guy. I don't get it. And I've been saying this since the spring when they're residents or maybe even citizens, I don't know, but who are in favor of the Palestinian movement, and they are actually, we saw it throughout the spring when finals at college and graduation was taking place. These pro-Palestinian activists interrupted things and in fact threatened many of the Jewish students. And I'm thinking, why? I don't understand. How do you take the side of the bad guys? I don't get it. I don't get it. So if you continue to listen to this show, maybe you'll be as frustrated as I am with what's happening in the country. Or maybe you'll call up and say, Jack, you don't quite understand. It's all Bibi Netanyahu's fault because he's a mean guy. He's a meanie. I look at him and he looks mean. Maybe that's the reason. I just don't understand. But Thanksgiving is coming up. Let's talk about something good. I know somebody who got invited to the fairgrounds. else this year. For years and years and years, I celebrated Thanksgiving with my family, but everybody's going to be somewhere else this year. And I would always hear about this wonderful event at the fairgrounds. This year I'm going. I got invited by these wonderful people, terrific people, who are somewhat involved with the racing industry and the radio industry, right? And so I got invited to go. I cannot wait to go. I went last night and I went online and I looked at videos on YouTube of I typed in Thanksgiving at the fairgrounds 2023 and showed, oh my gosh, some of the people had the wildest costumes. There was a woman, oh my God, attractive little woman. She was a tiny little woman. And she had this big spiral thing over her head, and on the top of her head was grass. And on the grass, she had a horse. And it was like the horse was, had won first place and was going to get this big award. And so I'm going to do that on Thursday. I hope you all are going to be with loved ones and with family and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Next Tuesday, we'll return with the Jack Clegg Show. We'll try to find more interesting tidbits in the world for you to learn about. Have a good weekend.
Hi, I'm Huck.